Hey and good morning guys, welcome back to the Market Garden. In today's video I'm going to show you some of the things that we do on our farm in July. Early this month we harvested out all the garlic that were interplanted within our strawberry and asparagus patch, and I have to say establishing a perennial patch with an annual crop is pretty awesome, as it allows us to still generate a revenue from that piece of land whilst the perennial crops are settling in and will provide us with yields in the coming seasons. The garlic variety we grew this year is called Messidrome, which is a French softneck variety that produces relatively large bulb for a softneck type, and the taste is as you expect it to be for a garlic. If you don't know what softnecks are, garlic varieties can be divided into two main types, namely the softnecks that we grew this year and hardnecks. Both types of garlic come with their own characteristics. The softneck types we grew this year are considered to do better in warmer climates compared to the hardneck varieties. They also store much better and much longer. In fact, under the right storage conditions, softneck garlic can be stored up to 9 to 12 months, making them a perfect variety to make braids and include in any garden. Hardnecks on the other side can store well for up to about 6 months after harvest. Also, unlike with hardnecks, the softneck varieties, they don't develop a flowering stalk, and they contain a diversity of clove sizes in a single bulb, where hardnecks generally consist of mainly larger cloves with a hard stalk in the middle. Softneck varieties contain both larger and smaller cloves in a single bulb. In terms of overall quality of taste, it is said that hardnecks do have an overall better flavor to them, but this obviously depends on what you like personally. Knowing when to harvest the garlic can be a bit tricky. If you let the bulbs too long in the ground, they will oftentimes split open and won't store as long. Same if harvested too early, the garlic will not have ripened enough and won't have as many protective layers. So in order to make sure to harvest the garlic at the right stage, I oftentimes start to harvest just a couple of bulbs to check out whether it's ready or not. A good indication when it's about time to harvest them is when the bottom leaves and the tip of the leaves start to turn yellow. If you have plenty of organic matter in your soils, harvesting garlic is pretty straightforward. You can simply pull at the necks of the garlic and they will easily come out. If you do have some resistance, don't keep pulling, as you'll likely damage the plant and even have the possibility to break the neck. Instead, use something like a garden trowel or a garden fork to loosen up the soil around the bulb. After harvesting the garlic, it is important to cure them, meaning drying them and preparing them for storage. There are many ways of doing this, but the way we like it the most is by simply hanging them up in bunches of 5 or 6 in our outdoor shed. In this location they don't get any sunlight directly on them, and the ambient temperatures of the summer with the natural ventilation are great to dry the garlic properly. This drying process will take about 4 to 8 weeks in this location. The fruit trees are thriving as well this year. We've been harvesting already large amounts of our purple plums, and the Mirabelle type plums are also ripening as we speak. This is really the moment where you can see the biggest benefits of having perennial tree systems in a market garden, where the trees are completely loaded with fruits and the production below it is protected from the harsh summer sun. We are currently experiencing temperatures around the 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, so the trees are a great asset to help preventing bolting in our spring type crops and help reduce irrigation requirements for the market garden. Also, our pear tree is ridiculously loaded this year, and it won't be long before we can start harvesting this amazing crop. The only downside of having the trees directly on top of the crops is the fact that it's not practical in many cases for harvesting and moving around. It also brings a little bit more labor with fruits that fall on the ground, and definitely in autumn when all their leaves shed. Therefore, having the trees laid out in tree lanes, similarly to orchards but a bit wider spaced, laid out preferably on top of a keyline design, would be much more beneficial. The greenhouse is pumping out incredible yields of mainly tomatoes and cucumbers, and to a lesser extent also peppers and eggplants. This year we started trialing a bunch of older heirloom type tomatoes, and we've got some mixed results. Some varieties have proven to be real winners with an incredible abundance of fruits, good growth and strong plants. Others have been rather disappointing with minor yields and higher disease susceptibility. We grow a combination of varieties including cherry tomatoes, beefsteaks, ox hearts, round ones, canning types, and probably a couple of more that I forget to name. A couple of months ago I showed you how we do the pruning of our tomato plants, and since that time some of the plants have already started to reach the top of the high tunnel. Tomatoes are really incredibly powerful plants and require lots of nutrients inputs, but if you're able to provide their required inputs, they are really one of the top crops and most profitable crops that you can grow in these kinds of settings. Although the management of these crops are pretty high with the pruning and the trellising of them, the labor input is easily paid off by the sheer abundance that they provide us with. Ideally, when harvesting tomatoes, you would have some kind of harvesting trolley on which you can place harvest crates. Since we decided to have smaller pathways and increase the amount of beds in the tunnel, this is unfortunately not very practical or possible for us. So when we harvest tomatoes, I actually lay down carton boxes which I collect from the stores that we sell some of our produce to, and simply move down the alley as I harvest. Once a box is full, I grab a new one and continue until everything that's ripe is harvested. Harvesting tomatoes is a pretty straightforward process. The trick with harvesting them is to harvest them when they're not fully 100% ripe, as this will shorten the time you'll be able to market and sell them. The great thing with tomatoes is that even though you would harvest them when they're not fully ripened, they continue to ripen after you've harvested them. This allows you to have a bigger window of opportunity to sell them to your customers. We do this mainly with the bigger tomato varieties, but for smaller cocktail type and cherry sized tomatoes, we only harvest them pretty much when they're fully ripe. July and the summer months are really months where a lot of the abundance becomes available and a lot of the revenue is being made. A lot of the work that we do now is simply harvesting, selling and replanting. Soon we'll also have to start looking to prepare for our fall and winter plantings again, which is what we're going to cover in the video for the month of August. I hope you're all doing great and your gardens are thriving at the moment. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. For more information on market gardening, check out thedutchfarmer.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day.